Dear students, now we see Standard 10th Science Unit 17 Reproductive Health. Reproductive health. According to World Health Organization, reproductive health means a total well-being in all aspects of reproduction, ability to reproduce and regulate fertility, women's ability to undergo pregnancy and safe childbirth, maternal and infant survival and well-being. Several measures were undertaken by the government to improve reproductive health of the people by launching national health programs such as Family Welfare Program, Reproductive and Child Health Care Program. Let us now see about the Family Welfare Program. The National Family Welfare Program is a comprehensive scheme which includes maternal and child health care, immunization of mothers, infants, and children, nutritional supplement to pregnant women and children, contraception with health education to motivate couples to accept contraceptive methods and to have small family norms which improve economic status, living status, and the quality of life. Now see about the reproductive and child health care program. It has integrated all services that include pregnancy and childbirth, postnatal care of the mother and child, importance of breastfeeding, prevention of reproductive tract infections and sexually transmitted diseases. Let us see about population explosion. Population explosion. Population explosion defined as the sudden and rapid rise in the size of population, especially human population. Realizing the dangers inherent in population growth, the Government of India has taken several measures to check population growth and introducing family planning. India has been one of the countries in the world to launch the nationwide family planning program in 1952. Family planning is a way of living that is adopted voluntarily by couples on the basis of knowledge and responsible decisions to promote the health and welfare of the family group and society. The World Health Organization has also stressed the importance of family planning as global strategy health for all. Let us now see about contraception. Contraception is one of the best birth control measures. A number of techniques or methods have been developed to prevent pregnancies in women. The common contraceptive methods used to prevent pregnancy are barrier methods, hormonal methods, intrauterine devices, and surgical methods. Now we see the first one, barrier methods. This method prevents sperms from meeting the ovum. Its entry into the female reproductive tract is prevented by barrier. So that one is condom and then another one is diaphragm. Condom prevents deposition of sperms in the vagina. Condoms are made of thin rubber or latex sheet. Condom also protect against sexually transmitted diseases like AIDS and syphilis. Diaphragm. Vaginal diaphragm fitting into the vagina at the cervical cap fitting over the cervix. This prevents the entry of sperms into the uterus. Next method is hormonal methods. Here, the hormonal preparations are in the form of pills or tablets. These hormones stop the release of egg from the ovary. Next one is the intrauterine devices, IUDs. These are contraceptive devices inserted into the uterus. There are two synthetic devices that is used in India are Lipsy loop and the copper T, that is made up of copper or plastic. It is non-irritant. This can remain for a period of 3 years. This reduces the sperm fertilizing capacity and prevents implantation. This also helps to give adequate time interval between pregnancies. The last method is surgical methods. Surgical contraception or sterilization techniques or terminal methods to prevent any pregnancy. This procedure is this procedure in males is vasectomy and in females is tubectomy. These are methods of permanent birth control. Let us see about the urinary tract infection. Many diseases affect both women and men, but a few diseases occur at higher frequencies in women. Women are susceptible to urinary tract infection from the bacteria to the bacteria that are present on skin, rectum, or vagina. This will enter the urethra before moving upwards. There are three types of urinary tract infection. The first one is cystitis. Cystitis or bladder infection, kidney infection, and the last one is asymptomatic. The last one is asymptomatic bacteria. So the first one is cystitis or bladder infection. Bacteria logged in the urinary bladder thrive and multiply here, leading to inflammation. It is most common in the age of 20 to 50. The second one is kidney infection. The bacteria can travel from the urinary bladder and upward to ureter and affect one or both the kidneys. It also infects the bloodstream and leads to serious life-threatening complications. And the last one is asymptomatic bacteriuria. The bacteria present in the urinary bladder which may not show any symptoms. The next topic is personal hygiene. Hygiene is a practice of healthy living and personal cleanliness. Personal hygiene is caring of one's own body and health. So there body hygiene, toilet hygiene, menstrual and napkin hygiene. So the first one is toilet hygiene. The first one is body hygiene. Washing is vital to all age group of people which maintains our personal hygiene. A daily bath regularly keeps skin clean and free of germs. Hands should be kept clean by frequent washing. Mouthwash should be done after every meal. We should wash our hands many times during the day. Cloth towels used to dry our hands or body should be dried after each use and laundered regularly. Clothes, handkerchief, undergarments and socks should be washed daily. Washing prevents body odor, infections and skin irritations. The next topic is toilet hygiene. The toilet has a lot to do with personal hygiene and general health, as it is a place that cannot be avoided and used regularly. Parents should guide and practice their children on how to use the toilets at home, in schools and other public places. Here are some of the toilet hygienes. Therefore, the floors of the toilet should be maintained clean and dry. This helps to reduce the bad odor and also infection. Toilet flush, toilet flush handles, doorknobs, faucets, paper towel dispensers, light switches, and walls should be cleaned with disinfectants to kill harmful germs and bacteria. Hands should be washed thoroughly with the soap before and after toilet use. The last one is menstrual and napkin hygiene. The first one is menstrual hygiene. Women's health depends upon the level of cleanliness to keep them free from skin and genital tract infection. Menstrual hygiene. Maintaining menstrual hygiene is important for all over health of women. The basic menstrual hygiene are sanitary pads should be changed regularly to avoid infections and bad odor. Use of warm water to clean genital. It helps to get rid of menstrual cramps. Wearing loose clothing rather than tight fitting cloth will ensure the airflow around the genital and prevent sweating. Napkin hygiene. The parents and teachers are to create awareness among the school girls about the use of napkins and their proper disposal. Girls should be educated in the following ways: that are the sanitary pad and tampons should be wrapped properly and discarded because they can spread infection. Sanitary pad and tampon should not be flushed down the toilet. Napkin incinerators ought to be used properly for disposal of used napkins. Thank you, students.